Guess who? I don't know who this is, so I can't give this person a voice. My vision is suddenly obscured by a darkness even darker than that of the night sky. Breath glides across my ear and laughter, obviously female, dances about me. Oh, fuck, it's a female voice. There's something pressed against my back, hands held over my eyes. They're doing that childish game you see kids participate in the playground. I never thought I'd be the one on the receiving end of such a gesture. Wait, you never did this as a child? Jesus. Who is it? How many young girls do I even know? Maybe it's one of my students. Mrs. Cartwright's Annette, perhaps? But Annette would never do something like this. She's far too shy. Not as shy as Maddie, but shy enough. What about my other students then? Laura, Jessica, Katya? No, and no again. Laura is quite a chatterbox, but she'd never be this informal with me. Jessica spends most of her piano lessons staring up at the ceiling. Katya's family is from Poland? Poland? And though she's fluent in English, she has quite a strong accent. It isn't those girls. Why would it be? I'm not that close to any of my students. Who else would it be then? Or could it be, rather? I think you've got the wrong person. Can you let go of me, please? I expect a sudden intake of breath, a frantic step backwards, a wide-eyed apology. But it never comes. The girl only giggles. Her hands remain stubbornly in place, unmoved. Oh, I definitely don't. I know it's you. I know it was you even if my eyes were pegged out by crows. Oh, fuck. I need a proper voice for her. But with my throat as it is right now, I can't go high-pitched that much. Fuck. I will think of a voice. Crows? If we really do know each other, could you at least let me see your face so I can confirm it? But that's no fun. I wanted to see you guess. I've always been bad at guessing games. Suit yourself, but that's too boring. The girl steps back, drawing her hands away from my eyes. Oh, it's the cutie pie of the main menu screen. I turn, the wind and rain stinging my cheeks, and frown. I don't know what I'm expecting. For some reason, my heart is beating just a little louder than usual. Adrenaline? It isn't every day you encounter a mysterious young girl on a bridge in the dark. The situation sounds like something from a novel. What kind of novel? I haven't decided yet. I'll make my mind up when I see her face. If she has long black hair and pale skin, it's probably a horror story. If she has blonde hair and blue eyes, maybe a romance. But as it turns out, the mystery girl is a mixture of both. You can tell that the artist of this game spent a lot of time on her and making her look nice, and less time on the wife, I guess. She's short, far shorter than me. Well, I knew that already since I could feel her breath against the base of my neck when she held her hands against my eyes. But I still don't know who she is, at least I don't think I do. There's something vaguely familiar about her face, the shape of her nose, the arc of her eyebrows, but these points are nebulous, difficult to pin down with any kind of clarity. Her hair is dark, cut into a neat bob. Her eyes are bright green and a small, mischievous smile plays across her face like a cat's that's just caught a mouse. Would that make me the mouse? For some inexplicable reason, I feel a chill go down my spine, and not because of the cold. There's something odd about this girl, but I can't quite put my fingers on it. Something uncannily familiar, but disconcertingly alien. But I don't know her. I'm sure I don't know her. If I'd met somebody with bright green eyes like that, flickering like halogen lamps, I think I would remember. Normal people don't have eyes like that. I'm sorry, but I really don't think we've met before. This must be some kind of mistake. And I already said that it isn't. I know you anywhere, Robin Hawkins. So she knows my name. How does she know my name? But she doesn't answer my question. She can't. I forgot to say it out loud. She takes one step forward and peers up at me. Her eyes are large, all encompassing, like twin gas planets. Man, what a fucking comparison. This guy is a true poet. Ooh. My head starts to pound. I feel dizzy. Maybe he has a thing for chokers or something. I mean, Maybe it's his fetish. I was waiting for you. I was waiting for you for such a long time. I want to tell you something really important. Oh, I got an achievement. Dream girl. I think I'm in love with you. So saying, the girl stands on the tips of her toes and presses a soft kiss against my cheek. Jeez. Her movements are so gentle and tender, I could almost kid myself into believing we're estranged lovers, reunited on this bridge for the first time in 15 years. But that can't be. I don't know how old this girl is, but there's a good chance she might not even be 15 yet. As for myself, I've been married to Sally for longer than that. Okay, now, we all know, as the game said in the beginning, everyone that's doing something erotic in this game is over the age of 18, so we don't have to worry about that. She is probably 18. The thought of Sally is enough to pull me back to my senses, more effective than a slap across the face. I'm sorry, but... And the rain is back. I take hold of the girl's shoulders, frighteningly bony, and push her away. Why would you do that? Why would you push her away? I mean, you could just say, stop it. She doesn't look surprised by my manhandling. Woman handling? Teenage handling? Help me out here. I wouldn't even call it manhandling, but okay. Instead she stares at me, eyes unblinking. To be honest, it's kind of unnerving. I can't deny that I'm flattered by the attention. What middle-aged man wouldn't be? But at the same time, I'm confused, anxious, and more than a little disturbed. What on earth was that all about? Why? Just who are you anyway? It's Belle. Ding ding ding, it's Belle. Don't you remember? I thought that might jog your memory. Not that we've ever kissed before. That would have been weird. Oh no, sorry, it's me. I really don't know. One of my old students? Do you usually let your students kiss you? No, of course not. Good. I'm so happy I'm the only one. I can get awfully jealous, you know? But that doesn't help me out. I still don't know why. Alright, fine. I see we're not going to get anywhere without a bit of a push. Will she push me into the river, maybe? She smiles, her eyes sparkling like precious jewels. Sorry. First hydrogen planets, now jewels. This girl's eyes are an ever-changing mystery. As source of so many possible similes, they've almost taken on mythic properties. Man, this was a hot sentence. It's inevitable. I've never seen a person with eyes like these before. In that case, there's just no way. How can it be possible? But it is. I step backwards. My back collides against the wrought iron railings and cold seeps through my jacket into my skin. The girl stands in front of me, smiling coyly as though she hasn't done something shocking. She even has a tail butt plug. Maybe it's a real tail. Maybe it's not a butt plug, I'm sorry. There, growing right out of her scalp, are a pair of ears. Oh, I didn't notice them before. I noticed the tail before I noticed the ears, I'm sorry. A set of twitching black ears, lined with white fur that tremble in the cold. Cat's ears. Cat's eyes. A cat's tail too, peeking out beneath the hem of her dress. Now, I always wondered how that would work, since the tail would probably, you know, lift up the dress in the back and you would be able to see her buttocks. But maybe she has a little hole in it, just for the tail. Catgirls. The biggest mystery of mankind, right? This must be a dream. This has to be a dream. The sudden kiss should have been enough of a giveaway, but the scene playing out before my eyes has transcended the border of possible but improbable and right into the congratulations, you've gone insane territory. Maybe I've been outside longer than I thought. It must be the cold. I'm seeing things. Maybe you jumped into the river and you're drowning right now and this whole game is just you hallucinating while you're drowning. Just a guess. What other explanation is there? This can't be real. There's just no way. She really is kinda cute. I like this sprite. Do you know who I am now? Slowly, stupidly, I open my mouth and say the very first thing that comes into my head. Belle? The girl's face lights up. Brief smiles. That's right, I'm Belle, your great Aunt Clarice's cat. Of course, that makes sense, doesn't it? It's Belle! She's come back to thank me for trying to save her, though she didn't need saving to begin with. That's just how the world works. Those who do good deeds will get rewarded eventually. I think there's something about it in the Bible. I don't know if there's anything about Catgirls in there though. Granted, I never paid much attention in RE at school, so I can't be sure. I'm no priest. Falling into that river during my formative years must have scarred me more than I thought. And yet, despite my belief that this must be some kind of near-death induced dream, the girl, or Belle should I say, doesn't disappear, doesn't even flicker. She remains stubbornly solid, leaning her elbows against the iron railings as she stares out at the starry sky. If it weren't for the ears and tail, she would look like an ordinary girl. An ordinary girl who kisses middle-aged men in the middle of the night. Well, I suppose that isn't so unusual. Not really. Lots of girls do things like that. Some even make livings out of it. But this isn't the same. I know it's not the same. I'm not really a cat, you see. I can tell that much. Maybe you can now, but you were totally taken in before, right? You, your great Aunt Clarice, your parents, and everyone really. It was a very convincing disguise, the best Halloween costume I've ever seen. Thanks. I'm not so sure about her voice, and I'm not glad about it either. But as I said, my throat is hurting like hell right now, and it can't go any higher. I managed to fool all you humans, but the other cats were less convinced. They must have known, on some instinctive level, that I wasn't one of their own. That's probably why they did like me, didn't want to come near me. That's true enough. Great Aunt Clarice's other cats, Smokey, Mittens, Snowdrop, Jasper and Eric, never went near Belle. I always thought it was just a cat thing. My body was that of a cat, but I was more than that. I've always been more. You said, all you humans. Does that mean you're not human? How perceptive of you, she grins. And how many humans do you know that can disguise themselves as a black cat for years upon years? Maybe not a black one specifically. Haha, you're funny, you're so freaked out right now, but you're trying hard to make jokes. I like it. Christ, I run a hand through my hair, it's damp and it clumps together in spikes. Water trickles down my forehead. This is ridiculous. How can a cat also be a girl? I don't understand. Man, I bet you've never went to Japan. It's probably easiest to think of me as neither. I'm not a cat or a girl. Then what are you? Words begin to flit through my mind. None of them are particularly flattering. Squamous? Eldritch? Abomination. I'm actually, how can I phrase this? I suppose I would say spirit, but you humans may say other harsher things like demon, devil, maybe monster. Monster? Not too far from abomination then. At least she didn't say elder god. I mean, I would love to romance an elder god. If you make visual novels, and you want an idea for a visual novel that will definitely give you the big bucks, make an elder god dating sim. You know what? Scratch that. I will do that. Don't steal my OC idea, okay? I was taking on the form of a cat out of necessity for a while. I didn't really want to, but I had no choice. I was too weak to assume a human form at the time, so I had to settle for something smaller. What do you mean you were too weak? I can't explain it right now. It's a long and boring story, and you probably wouldn't understand. Probably not. I can't even understand the made-up sci-fi jargon in Doctor Who, so how would I ever be able to wrap my head around something like this? Do you remember when I fell into that lake in Clarice's garden? I wasn't paying attention really, lost in my own world. When you're a cat and you can't communicate with anyone, daydreaming is all you can do to pass the time. Of course I remember, I almost died. I suppose you have a point. You humans only have one life after all. I take it you spirits or whatever it is you are have more? She taps a finger against her nose, that teasing smile flitting about her face. Now, that would be telling. A woman has to have some secrets. I thought you said you weren't a girl. I'm not. There's a big difference between a girl and a woman. Alright, fine, I won't pry, but I still can't wrap my head around all this. Good boy. I don't appreciate that condescending tone. I am 42. And yet, despite your age, you're nothing more than a child compared to me. Just how old is this girl? Sorry, woman. If we first met when I was 6, she must have a considerable head start over me. Isn't it rude to ask a lady her age though? I was so happy when you tried to help me back then. I mean, I wasn't in any danger, but the fact a human would risk their life in order to aid me really was touching. It wasn't touching, it was stupid. Don't be too hard on yourself. I appreciated it. People aren't very nice to spirits, even when we masquerade as something else. Though they can never tell the difference. I think they can sense it. That might be true. My parents were never too struck on Belle. Neither was I. I wonder why though. What are the general duties of your average run-of-the-mill spirit? Meting out death? Ferrying souls? Heralding the apocalypse? Then again, she was hissing and scratching every time someone tried to come near her, so maybe it wasn't her whole spirit thing and more like the bitchy cat thing that put off people. If that's the case, it's no wonder people are suspicious of her. I vowed, ever since that day, when I had regained enough strength to take on a human form, I would find you and thank you. It became a mission, my reason for living, as it were. I'm flattered, but you don't need to go that far. But I did. At the time, I really did. I needed something to care about, something to strive for. I'd been a cat for so long, I was almost beginning to lose my sense of self. I was starting to forget who I was, and that's very dangerous for a spirit. Beings like me can take on other forms whenever we want, depending on how strong we are. But if we remain in one form too long and forget about our true selves, we'll be stuck. Okay. I was this close. She holds up her thumb and forefinger. The distance between them is minute. Microscopic. To forgetting. To condemning myself to live the life of a common house cat for the rest of my life. A life that would have ended far too fast. Cats can't live for nearly as long as spirits can. No, I can't imagine they would be able to. Just what am I talking about? I have no idea what I'm saying. I've never met a spirit before, so I have nothing to compare this girl's words to and no way of verifying her statements. I'm just saying what I think she wants to hear, trying to make her feel better. Over the course of the last 5 minutes, I've come to realize something. I don't like it when she frowns. I'm glad you tried to save me, Robin. It woke me up from my stupor. Shook me by the shoulders, metaphorically of course, because cats don't have shoulders, until all the lethargy accumulated over the years fell away. I'd almost begun to forget it was an act. I'd almost forgotten myself. You made me remember who I really am. You didn't save me from drowning, but you saved me in a different way. You saved my identity. You saved not my physical body, but my sense of self. That's why I want to thank you so much. I'd be nothing more than a dead kitty, a stone-cold cat carcass if it weren't for you. I wouldn't be able to talk, to cry, to laugh. I wouldn't even have opposable thumbs. Belle holds up her hands, bending each of her fingers in turn, like a child showing off an art project to a parent. So, thank you. I can't thank you enough. Thank you from the very bottom of my heart. She looks at me earnestly, her green eyes intense. I shiver. It feels like an invisible ghostly hand is brushing against every single vertebra of my spine. I look away, flustered by a forthright honesty, and run a hand through my hair. I really am a typical man, bad with feelings, cowed by confessions. Well, you already said thank you, so you didn't need to kiss me. Was that also out of gratitude? Partially, maybe. It's because I realized something crucial. What? Saying thank you wasn't enough. Not after you helped me so much. You helped more than you could ever know. Her eyes flash like faulty street lamps, harsh and intense. I can see streaks of bright green pressed up close against my eyelids when I blink, burnt inside my skull. Oh wow. You almost gave your life to help me. Now I want to return the favor. I eye her suspiciously. And how are you going to do that? I'm getting a bad feeling about this. This dream, nightmare, hallucination, whatever you want to call it, has become too real. I was playing along until now, waiting until I woke up, but it never happened. I don't think I'll ever wake up. A bizarre fantasy has impeded upon my mundane life, sticking to my skin and chilling my bones. It clings to me, one skinny arm threaded through mine, and stares at me with big round eyes. Penetrating. Her breasts are small, much like the rest of her body, but they feel soft pressed against my arm. I don't know if she's noticed, or was that her intention all along? Her bare arms are exposed to the biting wind, the falling rain, but she doesn't shiver. Her body is cold, but it feels yielding at the same time. For all her talk about being a spirit, a demon, a monster, she looks like a young girl to me. She's so short I could rest my chin up against the top of her bobbed black head. She must be round about the same height as Melly, give or take a few inches. Which makes it pretty weird, I guess. I want to be with you all the time. I want to help you as you helped me and give you a shoulder to cry on when things get tough and a smiling face to congratulate you when things go well. I wouldn't be alive without your sacrifice, so I belong to you now. I'm all yours. What? Yeah, that would be my reaction as well, I guess. What does she mean, all yours? Humans aren't objects any one person can possess. No matter what marriage contracts would have you believe. Though Sally shares my last name on legal documents, she still publishes her translations under her maiden name. We've been married for almost 2 decades, but we do not belong to one another. I couldn't force Sally to obey me even if I tried, which I haven't, because I like to think that I respect her. I think the best thing in a relationship would be to, just like Belle, to try to do what the significant other wants to do or wants to have without having them to tell you to obey, you know? Making each other happy without telling each other how to do it or that they have to do it. And I don't think Sally and Robin are that happy together that they do this. But respect doesn't count for all that much when neither of us particularly likes one another. Yeah, you can respect the person you don't really know. But respect in a relationship is something else entirely, I think. Belle isn't a human anyway. She's not even a cat. I don't know what she is. She's a spirit, you fucking Belle. Maybe there are different rules in regards to possession when it comes to non-human entities. If there are, I wouldn't know. I've never met a spirit before. You heard me. I want to devote myself to you, my entire being. My each and every eyelash belongs to you, and the dirt beneath my fingernails, and the teeny tiny bones inside my toes. I wouldn't be able to appear before you in this body if you hadn't saved me, so I owe you. I owe you a lot, in more ways than one. Without you, I would not even be alive. The cold wind makes me shiver. I should have worn my coat. Why didn't I wear my coat? I must have been in too much of a hurry. The argument I had with Sally made my blood boil. I needed to escape before I suffocated. The cold air was good for me at first. It cleared my mind. But now, I feel uncomfortable. She's standing close. Far too close. She smells of the rain. Her hair sticks to her forehead and her breasts are still pressed against my arm. It's cold, but I'm starting to feel warm. Uncomfortably so. Oh! Belle's green eyes flash, like the colored bands trapped inside glass marbles. One more thing. I'm still rather weak. I can maintain a human form, but I can only use it for a short while. Human bodies are difficult to materialize into being, even for a spirit such as myself. You're so intricate, like grandfather clocks. You'd never think it, but inside here... She taps her chest, but I don't think she's telling me to stare at her breasts. What little she has. Rather, she's imploring me to look beyond that, right past her skin, into the inner workings of her alien, unfamiliar body. There's so much stuff going on all the time, so many organs and muscles and so much blood. My whole body is tethered together with cord and wire run by electrical impulses, neurons firing in the brain. It's very hard to focus on maintaining such a precarious, delicate existence for so long. Humans are a fucking wonder. Then again, every fucking living being is a wonder. It's magic, really. It's exhausting. If I let my guard down for even a moment, I'd just disappear into thin air like a candle being blown out. I've never heard anybody talk about a human body in such an impassionate way. It's strange since Belle isn't a human herself. Maybe that's why she's so eager. People always get interested in the unknown. Why else do so many people long for the good old days? We always do it, nostalgically harkening back to past we did not even enjoy at the time. This doesn't really have anything to do with the unknown though, because the past is something that's basically something that's known, right? Weird. The grass is always greener. Everything becomes more attractive with distance, even the finer workings of the human body. Okay, now this comparison works. Perhaps, if I was not a human being, I would also find the respiratory system endlessly fascinating. Wasn't being a cat just as difficult? They have lots of little bones too. Being a cat was difficult, but I grew used to it. A few decades will do that to you. Being a human, however, is rather new. I need some time. You've not assumed a human form before? Even as I ask the question, I feel myself wince. My left eye twitches. I must sound like such a fool. This isn't the kind of thing I should say. This discourse has no place in civilized conversation. It's the kind of fanciful dialogue that might exist in a young adult novel or a TV show. But real life? My life? Not a chance. But I still ask all the same. And Belle responds in turn. She doesn't even blink. Of course I have. How else would I know how to speak? It all comes with practice. Like riding a bike? Yep, once you've done it, you don't forget. But it's been a while. Define a while. I can't. Spirits live longer than humans, so my perception of time is a bit off. But if you had to guess, I don't know. The last time I was a human was maybe 40 years ago. But I've been alive longer than that. Longer than you could imagine. Wow, I don't know what to say. Should I turn it into a joke? That might be for the best if I don't want to go insane, presuming I haven't already. I don't know if I feel comfortable about this. I should probably ask my mother for permission before I start chatting to such an old lady. Jesus, what a bad fucking joke it is. Belle giggles and swats at me playfully, like a cat batting at a bird's carcass. She really loves you because she has to love you if she really found that funny. I see she wasn't lying when she said she'd been a cat for so long. I'm surprised she hasn't tried to lick me yet. Ooh, or herself. Ooh. I'd love to stay and chat, but I can feel myself getting faint. I might have to take my leave soon. But this won't be the last time you see me. I'll make sure of that. With that cheery exclamation, Belle stands on her tiptoes and plants a small kiss on the tip of my nose. The gesture is unexpected and strangely sweet. I stare at her stupidly. Alright, Robin, I'll see you soon. Much, much sooner than you may think. Hee. I'm not sure if I should take that as a threat or not, and what's with that hee. She isn't a cute schoolgirl no matter how hard she's trying. She isn't even a girl at all. She's a spirit, something vague and unfixed like a breath of air. Do spirits have genders? Did she assume a female form as an act of whimsy? A silly joke? I wonder, but I don't have the time to ask. I blink once, twice, and Belle has already vanished, her back melting into the surrounding darkness. Boy, I really enjoy the writing in this. It seems so smooth and so nice, so normal. Rather different than what you get in Umineko. I mean, Umineko is also heavily translated, but some of the sentences are just weird. And this just feels more normal to me, even though it's a supernatural story as well. I collapse against the railings of the bridge, sapped of strength. It reminds me of a book, I think that's what I want to say. The iron bars are cool against my back, but my face feels hot. My nose tingles. I can still feel her lips pressed against it, that soft and girlish kiss. I hold one hand against my nose gingerly, as though it belongs to somebody else, a different man. A better man, perhaps, whose wife still loves him, and whose daughter does not hide in her room every time he comes back home. Why am I thinking about Melly now? About Sally? Maybe it's guilt. It's because, deep down inside, though I try to tell myself otherwise, I'm happy such a pretty young girl kissed me. Of course I am. Despite the falling rain, her body really was warm.